Hi everyone, Lord Crew here, and welcome to my channel. So the topic for today is about the weekend rank meta-analysis for week 140. So without further guys, let's proceed. So first of all, I will just like to let you know that this weekend rank is a little bit special because this is like the first weekend rank for the Mortal Judgment expansion set. And as we all know, because this is the first weekend rank, this will be a new. We will see or witness the new meta deck in Archetype. And if we compare that on the last week is more about the core refresh or the core new card set plus the Divine Order set. Now, this is like literally added a new set of expansion from the core refresh, Divine Order. Now it's the Mortal Judgment. And this is like the first weekend rank. So technically, this will be like the first weekend rank that we might see who is like the best of the archetype. And FYI, before they release the Mortal Judgment, they already nerfed some of the cards, especially the Anubian one. And as you can notice, uh, the current the highest win rate in all of the gods are death here. And if you watch my PTR video about the Anubian death or Anubian aggro, I already mentioned they are like so powerful, and I already mentioned that Anubian will be one of the tier one or like literally one of the best deck in the weekend rank. And well, it came through. Now the problem is like at first there's like a question mark what if that will be still rank one, because when they release the Mortal Judgment they nerf the Anubian, especially adding one cost on those like the uh Anubian cards on the Mortal Judgment, and they might be affect a little at the beginning, but overall at the end of the week that became like the number one with the highest win rate here. So if we compare this one last week the number one last week on the core refresh was Light. It was like the popularity of Light last week is 47, and he's the current rank one like also. So imagine last week Light is the most popular, 47%, almost half of the entire player in the Mythic play Light. And then he has also the most highest win. So it was like literally broken for the Light there. And FYI, the main reason why it's not still popular or highest win rate now, because there are some Light cards also been nerfed during the release of the Mortal Judgment. So that's like the overall summary here. But FYI, the most popular deck is still Light. The main reason why the weekend win rate went lower because there were like some key cards in the Light cards in the core refresh has been nerfed. Okay. Now the most second most popular are Nature, and we all know the Nature are still popular, are strong because added now with the some of the Mortal Judgment, Amazon and Wild, they become like still strong. And as you can see, they're like the second most played, 26.9. So technically both Light and Nature are like above 25%. So technically combine them, they're like half of the match that you will face. Okay. And now the third most popular are Deception, which is the second with the total highest win rate. And followed by uh Death, which is the rank number one or the best god match, best gods here. And the fifth one are the Magic here, which is still high, 10.3, and it's at like a almost like 50%. So I believe the other three gods, Nature, Magic, and Light, are still performing well. Why? Because they're like zero point 0.5 difference on the 50%. So it means they're like 50% win rate here. Now the one gods that's been affected by the Mortal Judgment are the War, and as you can see, it's only 3.8% popularity, and they got the most lowest win rate. And first time I'm seeing this kind of low, because usually I see like around like 45%, like the lowest win rate, 45 or 42. But this one is like even like below 30%, 28.3%. So I believe people saying that, oh, they should nerf that or like the Anubian one. No, I in my recommendation they need to buff War, because you don't want like to have like a dead gods. Technically, this is like a dead gods. Nobody should like play war on the weekend rank. Maybe people play this war is probably not literally on the weekend rank, but technically on a like flux farming. But FYI, this is only mythic player. But if we change it to all, as you can see, war is not literally like a dead meta. It's only in the mythic it's dead. On the lower rank, like Solar Gold, people still play War. But what I know, in War, nobody plays any. They play the traditional one. They still using the some of the maybe some of the Mortal Judgment card or not. But as you can see, in lower rank, Nature is the most lowest win rate. But as you can see, it's all balanced. In the lower rank, it's almost balanced to every deck. Everything is like almost like 50%. As you can see, 49 almost like 50%, and the rest like the top three are like above 50%. So not that more than above 55. So technically in lower rank, in non-mythic, everything is balanced. Okay, but in mythic alone, war is a dead god. So I believe they should gods Unchained, rather than doing nerf on the Anubian, they should like fix first the war, because currently nobody's played that on the mythic rank. Okay, so now we're gonna go now for the archetype. So this is the archetype, like what we've seen. Like as you can see, there are almost like a lot of like green or 50% win rate in archetype. Uh, like agro light, agro nature, Amazon nature, control magic, even in deception above 50, agro death, and everything. So I believe like the uh everything is represented with a good win rate except for war, which is technically literally on the bottom of the, they're like at the bottom of the food chain here in the what. But everything, all my other gods are being represented above 50% win rate in their archetype. But as you can see, the current number one deck archetype now are the control death, followed by the sleep deception and another aggro death. So as you can see, Anubian death are literally above 55% in total win rate. So people are complaining there, and they're like hoping to nerf more about Anubian. But that's what the people expecting. But if I'm with the developer, they have to fix first war before they start nerfing the Anubian or one god. They have to fix the other god first, and then check if it will balance out. Then they try to have to nerf if still like the control debt is still here. So if we gonna go specifically, so we check with debt. There are like literally four archetypes of debt: control, aggro, board wipe, and zombie. So control debt and aggro debt are both Anubian archetypes. And board wipe deck, we all know this is like since the beginning, since the Genesis expansion, this is the most famous control in debt. And then the zombie death, which is last year's divine order divine order archetype. Okay, and as you can see, the Anubian one, both the Anubian have has like a good percentage win rate, and even the zombie here, even the zombie I know that this is not the zombie, this is the board wipe deck archetype here. Board wipe deck archetype, we all know board wipe decks always like about 50%, but they are like played few. And as you can see, like I said, it's 11%. Six half of it is played as a aggro death. Okay, only 2% of the Anubian control, or like the control death. So this Anubian control death is 1.8%. So high chances are, if you play on the weekend rank, you may face it one or zero at all, because that's how low is their popular, or low people playing it. Because why? Because there are only few people who has Demogorgon and Apocalypse now. But the aggro version without Demogorgon and Apocalypse, they're like 6.5%. So high chance that 6.5, you may face two or three in your out 2 or 3 in your 25 games during the weekend rank. Okay, so it's still low probability of chances you're gonna meet them, but they have like a high win rate. So who knows, the popularity of Rio may skyrocket next weekend rank. People might spend spend money or invest in the, because FYI, this is just the first week of the archetype. Now, if we're gonna go to deception archetype, there are like multiple archetype here. This is like a good business for deception, because you can like literally play, and they are all above, they're all 50% win rate above. Okay, and the most popular there are, the most high win rate are the sleep deception, but FYI, it's 0.8% high chance you may not fight, one or zero chances for you to meet them in the weekend rank. That's how low are they are. And FYI, deception is, I think it's the third most popular. That is fourth, right? So that's what happened. Let's go to light. Light is the most played, and as you can see, the aggro light the most played, but they are like the 23.7% people playing it, followed by the, I believe, the mid range one and control. Like mid range one, people are who has like a at least one Zealous of March on their build. One Zealous March. If they have two Zealous of March or more, they might went for a control light there. But uh, aggro light is the number one. And FYI, they receive a nerf also during the day when the Mortal Judgment is been released. Some of the core cards of light has been nerfed, like the mace. Okay. Next one will be the magic. So magic, there are like three archetype, and I think the most famous are the aggro. No, the most famous are most played are the control magic. This is literally a ramp one, a ramp version. Especially when they introduce Alestrina and some of them one, and then we have like the aggro magic. This is like literally the either it's a Dralamar OTK or a spell boost, like literally a spell type of aggressive archetype. Okay, so they're like technically three. Card draw are the divine order. It's been like least played now, but and also like the least. This is like the card draw which they use some of the card draw here. And now we're gonna go to nature. Nature is the most second most popular. And as you can see, there are like literally four archetype: Amazon, aggro, mid-range, and control. And Amazon is dominating the mid-range archetype here. But the most popular are the aggro, nature, followed by the mid-range. Okay, so aggro, mid-range, and Amazon. Amazon is like, because of the new Amazon cards by the Mortal Judgment, they're literally becoming now one of the like the most played now, or like they really get a buff, like the archetype there, because of the Mortal Judgment. There are lots of new Amazon cards in the Mortal Judgment. And last but not the least, the war, the underperforming, the Dead God, literally below. Technically here it shows like it's 4%, but as you can notice, it's like literally one of the poorest archetype here. So I believe before they nerf, they have to buff first war, because they're literally a dead god here, especially in mythic rank. And we all know mythic rank is supposed to be the standard. It's like literally what should be the meta should follow. If nobody playing war in mythic rank, that's like a bad business for war. Okay, now we're gonna go now for the net decking. And as you can see, we already have the result of the top 20. We have another guy who managed to get 25 out of 25, and that's Yagmoth. And overall there are like literally 9 players who managed to use death enter the top 20. Four of them play the aggro deck, the aggressive version, and five of them similar deck or copycat deck from Yagmoth, who managed to get 25 wins. There are like five of them. So four aggro, five control. Okay, and the control are the similar deck build with Yagmoth, who is currently like, and we all know that whoever get the perfect score or the highest in terms of rank 1 in day 1, day 2, or day 3, it will be copied by the other mythic player. They're gonna wait, and then on the third day or the last day, they were gonna copy the deck of the who's number one, and that will be seen. So since Yagmoth entered 25-25, there are like other four more players who use the same deck and managed to enter the top 20. The next one, the good thing is there are like three light players. Majority are aggro. two Magic players will enter the top 20. One aggro or the Dralamar OTK. Yeah, it's a Dralamar OTK, and the other one is a Control Magic, literally a ramp version. Three Deception, and that three Deception are like three archetype: Order Deception, Mid Range, and Hidden Rush Deception. And the last in the there are like three more who managed to enter as Nature, and there are like three archetypes there. One aggro, one mid range, and one Amazon. So technically, we have like a literally a diverse meta. But the number one meta for this one are the death meta, or like the Anubian. So either it's aggro or control. Both are like, and there are like technically 9 players who enter the top 20 playing those deck. Okay, so we're gonna check one by one. So we're gonna start with Yagmoth. He managed to get a 25 perfect, but as you can see, it's been played 778 times already, and it's 74. Means this is like one of the most OP deck. Like I mentioned before, if been overall played more than 200 and the percentage is 70 and above, it means it's one of the best deck. Okay, one of the best archetype deck here, and literally people copy the exact deck. But I still give kudos to Kati Pepe, because Kati Pepe on day one, he used the same deck. The only difference with Yagmoth is Kati Pepe used, instead of one Ragnarok, he has Jason on the build. So probably Yagmoth saw that one, played the same. I don't know who played first, but I will give credit to Kati Pepe, because on the day one, he played a similar version, but he's using Jason. And then on Yagmoth version, probably the upgraded version, he replaced the Jason with Ragnarok, and that's it. And he managed to get 25. And this is like the most. This is now the new standard deck for the Anubian control. I call it Anubian control because it's more about Anubian. And my other name for this one is Anubian board wipe deck, because you have like Apocalypse and Demogorgon, who are like the two most famous card in the board wipe deck, are now also in the Anubian deck. So we can call it Anubian control or Anubian board wipe deck. So similar deck here, played by Vlotkill, and same deck with Yagmoth. As you can see, same with Yagmoth. By unknown player, managed to get 22 wins here as an agrolite. And Mace of Calling, it's been nerfed, just like an FYI here. Replaced one of the another weapon from Mortal Judgment. He played Radiant of Dawn because remember, the Anubian has like Demogorgon, so this is counter sleep. And so technically, this is like a new update of the Mortal Judgment Agrolite. The next one is the Agro Magic, the Dralamar OTK. So technically, this is an OTK deck with using Dralamar and Aether Snap, and using Magic Ink to do an infinite damage of the Aether Snap. So this is like a one turn kill OTK deck, and this can be played either in turn 6 or longer. Literally try to board control, and he managed to get a good win here at 22 win. And this is what's played during a day one on the day one of the Mythic rank. Okay, if Yagmoth played on the day 3, he finished his game on day 3. This one is played on day 1. So another good thing, there's a order deception still. It's just added with some of the Mortal Judgment, so it literally buffed the order. Because remember, on the last weekend, on the last couple of months, order deception is known but never entered the top 20. So finally, the most famous still are the sleep deception, but at least order deception are now uh, joining now on the top 20 because of the new Mortal Judgment card. Like as you can see, it's been added a lot of a guild. So I believe if I gonna ask me, this must be a order guild deception, because everything is guild here. Order guild deception, if I gonna call this one. Agrodet, this is like without the Demogorgon, but this is like supposed to be like more aggressive and like literally more card draw and more damage compared with the control one. Control death, similar variation. Yep, similar variation. It's played now 780. Another aggro death variation. Another aggro death variation here. Oh, this is like another aggro. I call it aggro siren or aggro sleep because instead of using Demogorgon, they're using Siren of the Gate. So this is also like a controlled version, but instead of like aggro death, it's must be like a not literally aggro because has a little bit of a control here. Instead of playing Demogorgon, they're using Siren of the Cave because Demogorgon has for turn 7 or like 7 casting cost sleep. This one you can like play this one on turn 5 or turn 6. Just like to do a sleep control for a bit before you do the combo. So another variation of Agra, and this is also famous. As you can see, it's played 500 times and it has 71% win rate here. Okay, so it's a good win rate. uh Control Death, similar. I think the it's must be like similar to Yagmoth, but he has only one copy of Demogorgon here. Mid-range deception. This is without the. I believe this is still like another guild deception here. Majority of this like guild. They just like they remove the ordered like they remove the hollow here. Oh, but I believe it's a mid-range guild deception here. Okay. The next one is the aggro nature. Uh this is like combination of wild and Amazon. So it's like aggro nature combining both faction, wild and Amazon. As you can see, the good thing about the Amazon compared with the last Amazon here buff not just only Amazon but other creature like even it's wild. So that's like the new version of the Mortal Judgment because the Amazon in the Mortal Judgment does not only buff Amazon, it buff also other creature like even it's neutral or wild, it will be buffed, and that's what I like. Especially the like for example here, the warrior, it gives 2 strength to a random creature. It doesn't mention like give 2 strength to Amazon only. That's the difference between the Amazon of Mortal Judgment and the past Amazon. Aggro another variation of Aggro as you can see, no Demogorgon and no Apocalypse here. They're like literally relying on card draw and early aggression here. Control magic. This is what I'm like mentioned like similar like to a ramp magic here. Not literally a ramp magic, but literally a control magic. But as you can see, they have like a lot of 7 casting costs here. Corralis, literally control archetype because like I said, in Geo deck, if you have like 7 or like 3 cards that is 7 casting cost and above, you are already considered a control archetype. And because we have uh like total of 1, 2, 3, 5 cards that are 7 casting cost and above, it's considered a control magic. But technically, it's not a ramp. Just an FYI, it's not a ramp, but literally a control version. Hidden Rush, more on hidden. As you can see, Armor Lurker, Assassin, like Shade Walker. Uh, this is like more on a hidden deception build. Literally an aggressive one. And another control death. Similar. So as we can see, the overall are higher and higher. Like literally lots of people playing this one now and practicing this one. Agrolite deck. Uh, this is an Agrolite deck by Lin. And that's it. So overall, that's the death necking. So high chance. So we have to wait from the update. So if there's no buff and nerf on the Mortal Judgment, high chance we will see the same meta. The most dominated by the Anubian control, but FYI there are like 2% people playing it, less than 2%. So high chance it might buff up because there are like only few people who has Demogorgon and Apocalypse. And based on my experience, those are like the old board wipe deck players. So there are like probably 3% people who are gonna play that one on the next week. High chances 3% only because not everyone has Apocalypse and Demogorgon. So high chance from 1.8%, it might go up into a 3%. That's my prediction. Unless they're a buff and nerf on the Anubian. But uh, let's see, wait if they're gonna do some action for the war, because war is literally in mythic rank are like a dead god. So hopefully they buff them, and who knows, they might balance out this Anubian into a like a new, they balance out the Anubian win rate to lower, because there's another aggressive archetype now that can kill them before it reach turn 7 and turn 6. Okay? Guys, if you have like questions or suggestions, kindly please leave me a comment. And if you like the video, kindly please subscribe. And thank you for watching, and see you next week. Bye!
There's a distance between